Hello guys, myself Yogananda Gowda. I am pursuing PhD in Indian Agriculture Research Institute, Pusa campus, New Delhi. Currently I am pursuing PhD in Division of Vegetable Science under Horticulture subject. Today we are going to talk about how to crack JRF exam in Horticulture. Firstly, I would like to thank DKT for this wonderful opportunity. JRF will be conducted by NTA, National Testing Agency, for the ICAR examinations also. After JRF, for MSc, you will be provided with 12,500 rupees of stipend for your MSc program. To crack JRF in Horticulture, there needs to be a right strategy. For the Horticulture subject, you will be having 5 sub-subjects under the Horticulture. There will be 5 departments. For all these 5 departments, only one exam will be conducted. These departments are like Vegetable Science, Fruit Science, Floriculture, Plantation and Spices, Post-Harvest Technology in Horticulture. To crack JRF exam, firstly we have to be thorough with the syllabus. Syllabus includes all these 5 subjects such as Fruit Science. In Fruit Science, we will have to deal about fruit production, fruit protection, even orchard management, different aspects of cultivation of fruit crops of temperate and tropical fruits. In case of Vegetable Science, we will be having different tropical and temperate vegetables, even root vegetables and spicy vegetables, and their cultivation practices and the protection practices and intercultural operations. And regarding floriculture, you will be having crops such as annuals, commercial floriculture crops, landscape gardening. Regarding spices, you will be studying different spices like cardamom, pepper, ginger. And regarding medicinal crops, there are so many important medicinal crops such as sarpagandha, etc. We will talk about strategy. Firstly, regarding general horticulture, I will simultaneously try to tell strategy for each division of these subjects, and simultaneously books for those subjects and how to practice questions for those subjects. If we talk about general horticulture, there is a book called Basic Horticulture by Jitendra Singh. Here you will be studying about basic horticulture practices such as orchard management, pruning, training, different intercultural operations for various crops, propagation of various horticulture crops, especially fruits and vegetable crops, and different basic aspects of processing. All this you will be studying from this book. This book is very important to crack this exam. You will have to be thorough with this book if you want to clear JRF in Horticulture with very good rank. Regarding Fruit Science, it will cover very important crops of tropical and temperate fruits such as tropical mango, guava, banana and some other different crops. You should be studying more focusedly towards important crops, and even these days they are asking minor crops also. In minor crops, even simple minor informations like scientific name, origin, chromosome number, these will be sufficient, and some of the important varieties are ruling varieties of those crops. Regarding Fruit Science, if you talk about book, there is a book called Ranjit Singh which is more than sufficient, and there is a book called Handbook of Horticulture which is published by Indian Council of Agriculture Research, which is a very important book for all JRF preparation. This book you have to be very thorough to make sure your basic is very clear. This book will also be more important for covering fruit crops and different intercultural operations and basic orchard management practices of horticulture practices. Even for general horticulture aspect also, starting 10 chapters of this book is very important. These chapters need to be very thorough. Regarding Vegetable Science, there is a book called Tamburaj. This book is very important and sufficient for vegetable preparation. If you talk about vegetable preparation, here more focus should be given to solanaceous crops, cucurbitaceous crops, even cole crops and different intercultural operations of vegetable crops. And here important thing is varieties. You have to know important varieties of important crops which will be released by ICAR institutes such as IARA and IHR and some other state universities also. Here mainly you have to focus more resistant varieties which are ruling in the market, even in the agricultural fields. This is for Vegetable Science. If we talk about Floriculture, there is a book called Floriculture at a Glance written by Deshraj, and there is also a MCQ of the same book. These 2 books are enough. If you talk about post harvest technology, there is a book called Glimpses of Post Harvest Technology written by Udal Singh Meena. This is a very essential and enough, if you cover this book, this is very much enough for the post harvest technology. If we talk about plantation crops, there is a book called book written by N. Kumar, which is very important book. You have to be thorough with the plantation crops. People neglect this portion, but sometimes there will also be chances more questions may come from this portion also. This is specific strategy and specific book for each 5 subjects of the horticulture group. If we talk overall general strategy of horticulture JRF, you should be more focused towards the application aspect of the horticulture subject, such as if you take the fruit science, you have to be thorough with the basic practices of horticulture, which is because you are going to crack exam for MSc entrance, you will be asked with very basic questions. So you should be very thorough with the scientific name, chromosome number, origin, and very important varieties of each important crops. There is also a book called TR Chadda for temperate fruits. You should be thorough with this book also. Also in fruit science, one important aspect is different horticulture practices of orchard, such as training and pruning in grapes, and even different cultural practices of temperate crops, even banana, such as desuckering, metaking, all these aspects of banana, like that for different crops. Any specific practices are there, you should be knowing about these practices. This is for fruit science. If you talk about vegetable science, which is also a very important area, which covers which almost comes next to fruit science in terms of number of questions asked, this should also be given reasonable weightage. In this subject, you have to be very thorough with the species. For example, if you take cucurbits, there are number of species for different resistant aspect, such as soil salinity resistant, different pest and disease resistance, all these things to be covered. There are also important varieties in important crops, such as Arka Rakshak in tomato. I am just giving you simple overall idea how to cover the things. People worried about varieties, how to remember varieties. There are number of varieties. You don't need to remember all the varieties of all the crops. You just remember important varieties and their crosses, what are all their parents. If you take fruit science, you have to remember all the varieties, important crosses of grapes in case of fruit science. And they will be asking rootstock for mango. They will be asking different rootstocks of guava. Here I will also suggest one more thing is, before starting preparation, just go through previous year questions. You don't need to answer those questions, just see the questions, which area they are covering the question. For example, if you went through 3-4 questions of any 3-4 questions regarding institute, like where is IAHR is located, where is IARA is located, this will be knowing everyone. There are some other institute which you will not be having idea, where is NRC and banana located. So you will be classifying this area as a question based on institute. If you go through paper, you will also be finding varieties, very important varieties they will be asking. If you analyze, you will get to know there will be a purpose why they have asked this variety. They will not simply ask all the varieties which are available in the book. There are varieties which can be asked, which must be asked, those only they will ask. For this, you have to work repeatedly, you have to see the previous year papers. This will be sufficient for knowing how and which area they are covering the questions. Regarding vegetable, I will just take one crop and I will give simple example how to go through these crops. For example, if you take tomato, just remember its scientific name, chromosome number, origin, and you will be going with the basic production aspects, its climate, soil, and its major area of cultivation and these things. If you talk about varieties, you will be studying important varieties from important institute and which varieties for very important diseases. Usually they will ask very important variety for very important disease resistance, very important variety for very important aspect, such as anthocyanin, such as its nutritious quality, different carotenoids content. Like this they will ask. For example, if you take carrot, they will ask, they may ask some different variety which is nutritious rich, and you should also be updated with the recent varieties. You have to regularly follow the magazine, Indian Horticulture magazine, which is released bi-monthly by ICAR. This magazine is very important. From this magazine, if you go through last 1 year of these magazines, at least you can easily crack 5 questions easily if you go through these magazines. And regarding floriculture, here people will face lot of problem, because what to remember, what not to remember, this is very important actually. In floriculture, we do not need to worry much, just remember the annuals, what are the summer season annuals, what are winter season annuals, what are rainy season annuals, just remember those things. Yes, of course it is very difficult to remember, just you try to make the column table for them, like there are families for different annuals, just make the column for same family one table, and different another family another table, you will be remembering easily. And even flowering season also, it is difficult, people will say it is very difficult, but it is very easy if you classify it properly. Regarding post harvest technology, you should more focus on enzymes, different post harvest disorders, post harvest diseases, and post harvest handling of crops, because these days this area is also getting very much importance. This is also a very important area to get very good rank. People will say I will leave one portion, floriculture portion I will leave, or post harvest portion I will leave. This is a bad idea, because if you want to get very good rank, and if you want to get very good department which you all are willing to pursue, you have to read all the departments, and they are very easy, they are not any different courses what you have already read in 4 years of your degree education in your horticulture courses. Those things will be covered for JRF, but little bit of advanced level questions will be asked. Regarding plantation, here also it is very important to cover commercial crops such as coconut, areca nut, and even ginger. If you take the spices, cardamom, pepper, rubber in commercial crops, tea, coffee, these are all the very important crops. And medicinal portion also getting lot of importance. If you want to know the strategy for medicinal, just go through the important chemical component present in the medicinal. Regarding medicinal crop, it is very important area also. For any medicinal crop, you have to know about its basic aspects such as scientific name, its family, origin, and its chromosome number, and seed rate, and its very important medicinal component, for what it will be useful. These are all the things to be covered for medicinal crops. After thorough with the basic books, there are 2 books called Instant Horticulture and Glastus Horticulture. Instant Horticulture written by S.N. Gupta, Glastus Horticulture written by Selva Kumar and another co-author. People directly jump into these books, but these books should not be approached at very first. People must be thorough with basic horticulture and handbook of horticulture. After giving 3-4 readings of these books only, you have to jump for these short notes books. These are books S.N. Gupta and this Glasses Horticulture. They are just short notes of whatever you have read, but you cannot directly jump to the short notes. You have to be thorough with the basic things, then only you will be having grip over these things whatever they have given in those 2 books. In the last 2 months of your revision period, you can go for these 2 books, and you can solve as many MCQs as possible, but also do not jump directly into the MCQs. Finish first basic books, then jump to MCQs. After these 2 books, you can practice MCQs from, there are some books like Mission Horticulture, A to Z Horticulture. There is also book called MCQs in Horticulture by Bharat Singh Gada. These 3 are sufficient as far as my knowledge is concerned. And there is also an important portion which will brings around 20 questions for you. There is a general agriculture portion. People usually, those who belong to horticulture subject, they will neglect this portion, but it is very important to read this subject also. That is why what I suggest is, do not keep general agriculture for last. If you start from beginning, at least if you cover one topic for a week also, it will be more helpful. If you keep it for the last, later you will feel like I did not have read for general agriculture, and you will also forget that subject, and it will be fetching huge loss in the examination. For general agriculture portion, general agriculture by Neemraj Sandha is sufficient. Also in the last month you can go for updation of this agricultural data, horticulture data, export, import, and what is the production, which are the states highest producing fruits, flowers, and different important vegetable crops. This is also very important thing which will yield 3-4 marks in the examination. So guys, this is my strategy for JRF horticulture. So do not run behind number of books, just list out the important books and simultaneously solve MCQs after your basic preparation, and repeatedly revise same books again and again. It is very easy to crack only when you put 100% effort into it. Thank you. I would like to thank DKT for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.